Alright guys, since I did part 1 of welding the rear and everything, we'll go kind of backwards here. And I'll show you quick how an 8/8 comes apart, and then how I'm going to assemble my already shortened rear. So we'll go from there. Basically, I mean, I already had this apart, but it's 13mm bolts. You zing them right off the cover here. And then what you'll end up doing is scraping all of this, you know, later and preparing it. Normally what you do is, I do it on jack stands when the rear is out. It makes everything really easy. If you're underneath the vehicle, I can still do everything underneath the car, but obviously it's hard to show you everything, how it goes. But you can put like drain pan under there, use a jack, pick the pinion up, put the pinion on the jack, let it just dump out in there. But before that, I already have the one axle out, so I'll show you guys how to get the axle out. All you gotta do really is get like 8mm. This one, most of them come out really nicely. It's already loose, I just threw it in here for mock-up for you guys. So once you get it all unthreaded and loose enough to pop out, you pull this pin, obviously. And one tip I can give you is, if you can't get an 8mm on there, or it's stripping it, or you're having some other difficulty, you can use a 1/4" ratchet. Take this end cap off, and then you put a 1/4" ratchet or a 3/8, you know, with the 8mm on it. It'll really help out, because if you're hitting it at an angle, you're just gonna strip it. They strip kind of easy. Luckily they're not that tight most of the time. Sometimes they're totally fucking loose. Awesome. Another neat thing, easy way to tell it's an Explorer rear, is it has ABS ring. It actually has an ABS ring right on the fucking diff. That's a ABS sensor, those are the wires. I cut the pigtail because I may wire some sort of weird traction control to that. So you can push the pin from the other side, pull the pin out. I usually throw it right back in there with that guy to follow it. And then the next thing you would do, since the pin is out, it stops the C-clips from showing up. So you can push in, you can see the C-clip, super easy. Wish I had a smaller towel. But, nice thing, these are Harbor Freighters, but everybody has their own version of these super long pliers. Nice easy thing to do is set everything on like a piece of cardboard or something. You know, from the side you take it out, that's the left side, that's the right side. Makes it super easy. And then I'm actually wearing gloves because this diff fluid smells so goddamn bad. It takes the bulk of it off your hands. This is a 19mm. Well, sorry, you pull the, I'm getting ahead of myself. Pull the C-clip, and then the axle basically can slide right out. So, C-clip's out. Axle literally slides right out. Now nothing is holding the diff in except for the mains. Now, take the 19mm, knock this guy loose, knock them all loose, and then like I said, easiest way to prep for this, keep everything the way you take it out. Like these main caps, you can just pull them and then lay it down like you take it out. Lay them down on the outside edge. And then sometimes I set these up so they're loose enough to pull out by hand. If you cannot pull them out by hand, pry bar, let's get underneath the diff and give it some bumps. And it's starting to come out, so you take it easier. You don't want to fling it at yourself. Lift it out and try. If the races move, that's okay. I usually put a fat end down. And then what you want to do is take the shim and the race and lay that down next to the main caps that it came out with. So everything's ready to go. Basically, you can take it apart, cut it down, the axles and everything aren't in there. You can do seals and bearings, which I'm actually going to do because we had to rip the one out and my seals look fucking terrible. They look awful. They're all rusty and leaky anyway, so in an effort to keep all this stuff off the brakes and my tires and everything else, I'll actually do the seals. They're like $2.50 a piece from AutoZone, so, you know, fuck it. We'll put them in. Got some straw in there. That's good for it. It won't mind at all, trust me. But anyway, to put it all together in reverse order, obviously you put it in reverse order. Once you get everything all set up, you get some more straw out of there. Easiest way to do it, pick up the pumpkin, take the brace and the shim, drop it right back in there. This takes some practice, obviously, and you don't want to, it's kind of heavy, so if you misplace it, you'll take a fingernail off or fuck up your finger pretty good. Another good reason to wear gloves for this. But it takes a little bit of wiggling sometimes. They'll dance around like a piece of shit, and it has to mesh up with the pinion and all sorts of other junk all at the same time. And they line up kind of nice and it goes in pretty good. And then one thing you can do, there's actually a race driver or a shim driver or whatever you want to call it, like a little half moon tool to hammer it in there, because if you make this too tight, don't hit it with a big fucking hammer. You'll break this guy. You'll snap it right in place, and you gotta take out all the pieces and find something else. So if you use a really light, if you have a really small hammer and you use very little resistance, I'll actually use the 8mm wrench to knock it down flush. You wanna, if you hit this hard at all you'll do is drive this right through it, punch a giant hole in it, and then it's useless. But you shouldn't have to hit it that hard. Right there. You can hear the sound change. Thud, thud, thud. It's bottomed out. It's done. So, once that's in, nice and tight, what I like to do, usually, I should say I almost always check it by ear. I've done it so many times, if it has a particular sound, you know it's close enough. So start these threads, just snug them, and then you can actually hear that little clunking. If you hold the pinion still, that is what's called backlash. Clunk, 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 clunk. That's engagement from reverse to rear, reverse to rear. So how much free space or backlash is there? Well, there's many ways to do it, but one of the easiest ways is, I used to have a magnetic base and a dial indicator, and well, total pain in the ass to use, honestly. The magnetic base would wander around all over the place. So what I did is, my neighbor showed me this, one of these the other day, so I actually bought a Harbor Freight one because it was only like 30 bucks. Came with the dial indicator and everything. And what I find is much easier is the clamp than dealing with the magnet. Sucks, dances all over, falls. You put a little bit of side load on it, falls, drop all your shit. So, super annoying. What you want to do is line it up. Take some slack out of this. You want to put it right up against the face, maybe a little bit tighter. Now you'll have to mess with one of these till you get the hang of it, but they're excellent. Now you want to put it like right on the face of the gear. Tighten everything down, and then show you from the other side. This is the actual backlash measurement. So if you hold the, I mean, you do this a couple times because it ain't perfect. You want to hit it so that the gears are not interfering. And then here you can see backlash is only like a 3. It's very tight. If you move it to like 0 and get it without it going off the edge, see, there's 0. Yeah, it's like 4. So pretty tight. That'll probably howl. But that's how you check it. What I actually did is I swapped them from left to right to make it tighter, because it's about a 12 the way it was, or a 15. Just for fun, I wanted to swap them and see if it got any tighter, and it did on the video. So what I'll do real quick for fun is swap them back for you, and we'll see the difference in the other direction. Take the main caps off again, like I said. Set them down on the appropriate sides. Get your smasher out of the way. Turn this guy around. Fucking dancing all over these things. Yeah. Yeah. This is always fun, messing with these things when they're jammed in here. See that? Be persistent. Don't take no shit. Dink. So much for not getting my hands dirty. Fucking gloves are so annoying. Anyway, go like that. Now this should be closer to 12, 15-ish. Like when I first checked it before taking it apart. See what I mean about it being a total pain in the ass sometimes? Total pain in the ass. Just this side that is most disagreeable. So just start to fuck over. Sometimes they just get caught. Want to be a pain in the ass. Nice. Better. Now we'll just tap this guy in lightly again. Yeah. Yeah. Like that. See that? Now you can hear and see the wiggle. Now what I always tell people, or at least what I do, people do whatever the fuck they want, including me. What I do is I will ship anywhere between 10 and 20. Works really great. And there's no sense breaking your balls if it's a stock rear and you took it apart. You should be able to get it back together, you know, in some sort of stock appropriate. I moved that guy around with my pry bar, beating the shit out of it. Anyway, let me see if I look as smart as I sound. Wouldn't that be nice? All right, so the other gear isn't interfering. See that? Almost 0. Like 13. Boop, boop, which is like mint. Beautiful. You just got to make sure you're not, you know, dicking yourself. But you want to get it as straight as possible. Let's try this one. And my best advice is to just keep wiggling it, because you can't do this perfectly, in my opinion. I mean, if you have a jig or something, but if you just sit there and wiggle and you go, oh yeah, you know, I'm seeing about 15 there, I'm seeing about 13 here, I'm seeing, you know, give yourself the average. Don't beat yourself up. take pride in your building your rear yourself. But yeah, almost 0. Yeah. See how it just resets in a funnier spot? See now about there, it's showing a little bit more, 15, 16. But anyway, see how I said you can go totally nuts trying to make that exactly 8 or whatever is in the Ford thing. I'm telling you, between 10 and 20, and if you hear this sound, and get the camera real close, click, 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 click. Like you can, you're almost sure, you're not even sure if it's moving. You go, dude, did it move? I don't know, did it move? But you hear the click? That's perfect. It's hard to describe, but that's perfect. It's mint. Anyway, at this point, this is where you would just do reverse order and install the axles and shit. But what I'll try to do quick is show you how to pull. I'm not sure how long this video is, but it seems like no one cares if they run on. We pulled this bearing and this seal when we shortened the rear to get the, you know, the truing device. I'm gonna step on this pig and then it's gonna be worth nothing. But what I'll show you, all you gotta do to get this seal out of there is like basically just get a flathead that's sharp. Get a badass flathead. I got a hammer out here already. And if you just deform this pig, you can get like a seal puller, all sorts of junk, but honestly, if you fuck it up, it can't seal. It'll come right out. See that? Man, that stinks real bad. Nothing like fucking with a rear. Shit smells. Anyway. This bearing is minty fresh. Just want to do the seal. So, you would use a bearing puller or something, slide hammer, or some other alternative creative means, which, you know, I leave up to you. Do whatever the fuck you want. Get it out of there. Got more hay from Mr. Dino. I got welds for free and hay for free. Pretty damn good deal. Anyway, this is the saved bearing from the other side, and then these are the 2 axle seals I got. Part number 8835S as in Sam. S as in Sam. Like a 2.5 inch, 2.5 some inches. So, the easiest way to do this would be to get a socket that's large enough, which would be funny if I don't really have, or a block of wood or something. Mostly what I do is I just tap the edges in. I've never had a seal driver or something that's appropriately sized to do this. Ironically, ladies and gentlemen, I don't have the tools for the job. Sometimes we get to see cool shit. Other times we don't get to see anything other than a fucking orange hammer from Harbor Freight. But if you have some patience, obviously what the driver does is it hits everything very evenly. So you may, the rust, it just flies out of there like a rocket ship. What an awesome thing. Anyway, with some practice or smashing your fingers enough, negative reinforcement therapy, you'll get that right. So, what I want to do is, well, this WD-40 is on its last leg, huh? She's struggling. Struggle Street. Fucking Struggle Street. Oh my God, this one's out of control. big enough? I don't know. Working the edges. I'm hitting the center. I think it's about down as far as it'll go. Just use whatever caveman shit you have laying around. Yeah, it won't go anymore. She won't go anymore. I believe that's all I'm gonna get. Man, it sounds mint. What a nice bearing. Obviously, if you had a socket large enough, that would probably be killer. But seeing as I don't, we're gonna roll with what we got. Look at that. Look at that minty ass seal and that beautiful reused bearing. That's something to be proud of. Anyway, that is a driver's side axle that's long. That is a passenger side axle that's short. We cut the rear down to exactly fit two short axles, fit under the back of the truck nicely. Lots of people do this. Even Pavel. So, we will take, now that the axle seals are in, the bearings are in, and we did a beautiful hack job of installing all of it, we grab the fucking axle, and then we go for it. Look at that. Push it through, and flat edge goes out towards the studs, and then you can usually see the skinnier wear mark in there. That's from the inside of the axle hoop here. See that? And then you can just bloop, you can pry it, knock that guy out of the way. Then you go to number 2, grab the short one, minty new axle seals. Try not to beat the shit out of them. You walk the guy around on the splines. Ah, that one's in far too. We'll have to just go about there. Same thing. Nice needlers. Flat edge out, round side in. And then I'll just, whoop, look at that. Shit's fucking mint. Then what you want to do, just spin this guy over till you see the hole that the retaining pin goes in. Whatever fancy name Ford came up with that, I don't know. Now you gotta watch, sometimes this goes in here like, literally like greased fucking lightning. Dog gears get a little bit moved around. So, again, really light hammer. Now this thing will run away and fly out the other side even though you thought it was sticking on you. So I like to, see that? Apply a little bit of pressure, get that guy. If you have it a little bit out of alignment, there's no threads on the first, 3/4 of that. So you can tap this in to help you line up the pin. And then this will obviously thread in by hand. Dink, 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 dink. Hope you can see this well. Sometimes when I rewatch these, I'm like, shit, I was staring at something here and the camera was filming up here, but I think I'm compensating correctly for it. What we're gonna do is just snug this by hand. Otherwise you'll strip it or you'll go to get it out the next time and curse yourself out. You'll be so fucking pissed off if you put it in yourself and you ruin it. No blaming the guys at Jack Williams National Tire and Battery for your fuck up on that one. Anyway, just like a tire, everybody knows you don't torque your wheels. Actually, I do when I go 150. But this guy, roughly a brap, maybe a brap and a half, maybe 2 braps on that one because it's got the shortened tube. Yeah, okay. You get the idea. Hear that backlash? Yeah, that fucking minty backlash. Anyway, see? Wow, that motherfucker works. Anyway, what you'll do from there is you'll get a nice tube of Permatex or whatever, right stuff, cool stuff, Jimmy John's RTV special. Another thing you should have, flat razor. And someone asked me once what's in the pill bottle. Flat razors for this guy. For scraping stuff, getting nuts. But scraped all this fucking rust and shit off. Yeah, it's beautiful. This is really something nice. Look at the the rust is so bad. The surface. Oh, look at the rust. It's all just fucking rust. Not even our TV. This is one of the rustiest rears ever. It's awesome. I traded somebody something for it. So I don't care. I didn't pull it. I didn't even have to do anything. Quite a deal. You want to clean up this guy. Look at the rust. You know, someone was probably like off-roading this fucking guy into the filled the vent tube or the rear and everything. You know, it's just filled with water and junk. Check it out. Check out how fucking rusty that is. It's really something. You like that Harbor Freight bullhorn? Megaphone, bullhorn. Anyway, wipe this guy off. Wipe this guy down. Get the rust out of there again. What you want to do is get yourself ready. Get fucking worked up. Get all wound up for that. What I got here are diff bolts. I threw in this box so I wouldn't lose them. And I have the finest CarQuest bullshit fluids ever. Whatever's on sale, you know, whatever's cheapest. 80, 90, whatever you want to put in there. Give this guy a fucking drink. It's way easier than filling it the other way, huh? Huh, guys? I just pour 2 quarts in there. Build it on the jack stands. Sling them in the trash. If you don't have the ring finger, middle finger bottle punch down by now, you can, you know, pierce it with the lid. Whatever. Whatever makes you happy. This is very reminiscent of one of those Friday movies. Pouring out a 40. Pour out a 40 for my rear end. What a beast. Blah! There we go. Oh my God. From 2 feet away. Anyway. Easy way to do this. Get some damn RTV out. Sloppy Mechanics tech tip. For the bottom of the diff here, you're going to want 2 passes. Top, you can get away with 1. You can do a shit job too if you want. I won't tell anybody. I won't call your neighbors or the cops. Here's what I mean on pass number 2. For you welding guys, that was my root pass. This is my final pass. inside. Probably I'm not even saying those correctly. People who are welding are yelling right now on YouTube. Oh dude, that's not the root pass, you mean the other pass. Save that stuff for later. Lord knows you're gonna need it. Bloop. Drop that on there like you don't really care about smearing it all over the place. Get some threads started by hand. Look at the rust. This thing's awesome. Best rear end ever. You grab your... Everyone's got to have a DeWalt 1/4" magic maker. Run them home. Run home. Oh man, what the fuck? That one must be so rusted out that it's round. So that one's staying in there forever. And realistically, that's it for now. All I gotta do is grind this guy a little bit, measure this for a spring perch, put on the brake hardware, which is just brake hardware, very easy, and then slam it in that thing. But I hope you enjoyed, you know, how a real hack artist works on an 8.8 rear. Enjoy.